This is Kelly Shaw.
I'm one of the members of the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization. I'm up here near it's called Thousand Peaks Ranch. I don't know if it actually happened on the ranch because it's a very good chunk of private property. I know that the story goes they were close to it or either on the ranch, but it was a couple of deer hunters in 2004 hunting out there. It was October, and it was the witness, the reporter, and his brother-in-law. Well, it was towards the end of the day, and they were really back deep in a draw, and as it got later, they started headed back. Well, they come up out of this draw kind of into a flat meadow area, and there's along Chalk Creek, there's some beaver dams, some beaver ponds, and beaver structures. And I love hearing these types of stories because there's a lot of Sasquatch encounters in and around beaver structures and ponds. But anyway, these guys come up over the ridge out of the draw, and the wind was in their faces. And they come face to face within about 30 feet of a Bigfoot that they say had jet black hair. And in their report, they say it was not fur, it was hair. And they estimate the size of the creature to be 9 feet tall. They come back later and did some measurements. But anyway, the creature seemed just as disturbed or just as surprised as they were. You know, it was a surprise encounter by both looking at each other face on. Well, anyway, the Bigfoot let out a big deep woof, and the Bigfoot ran into this thicket of pine trees. And this guy said his brother-in-law goes, "What the hell was that?" And he put a shell into his rifle. Well, it got into the trees and then made a low guttural growl at him. And the one guy said when he was a kid, he used to work at Lagoon, this amusement park in Farmington, Utah. And when he worked there, his job was to feed the animals. There's a little train ride that has wild animals, and he said the jaguar in its enclosure growled at him one time. And he says that's the closest thing he could describe coming out of this Bigfoot when it growled. Well, anyway, after it growled, it chomped its teeth at him, chomp, chomp, and kind of an intimidation display, if you ask me. And they just backed up and got out of there. And this happened near or on Thousand Peaks Ranch. Anybody that watches this video, if you know how to put me in touch with the owners of Thousand Peak Ranch or know how to get me access, I've driven through it. There's a 17-mile dirt road that it's actually Chalk Creek Road, and it's state maintained, so anybody can drive on the road. It's just while you're on the ranch, you can't even pull over or get out of your car. You're not even supposed to go to the bathroom, because if you get caught, it's an $800 fine. And driving through the ranch, it's just very primitive country. I'm thinking, you know, the thick deer and the Bigfoot probably stay on this ranch most of the time. And I'd really like to get access. I'd like to get permission to do some Bigfoot research on there. I'm very respectable of people's property and of landowners. I've driven through there just because I can. It goes to the high UN as it actually empties out at Whitney Reservoir, and that's another hot spot of a lot of sightings and stuff. But I really feel like if they inhabitate anywhere most of the time, it's probably on this ranch because very few people have access to it, just the landowners. And it's a huge ranch. Like I said, there is 17 miles of dirt road that pretty much goes through the middle of it that is considered the Thousand Peaks Ranch. And the aspens are just the hugest aspens I've ever seen in there. They remind me, if you've ever been to Glacier National Park, the Quakies are just huge in there. And these quaking aspens on this Thousand Peaks Ranch are just huge. It's a beautiful place. I would really like to be able to get in there and hike around and research and see if I can find physical evidence of Bigfoot back in there. But there's another story for you. 2004 of October, along the banks of Chalk Creek near Thousand Peaks Ranch. Sounds like a pretty scary story, and these guys say it was a jet black Bigfoot 9 feet tall. Have a great day.